Well guys, here is a brand new Victoria Free After Action report as I got back to playing it recently after a few months away. Can't wait to see if the update recently in the next like 10 days, whatever it is gonna make war better and make the game better, because it still really is not. So anyways, I finally finished my first game as Korea, or as I say, Joseon, as that's what Korea was called back then until 1897. I just found out just a moment ago, because I was always wondering, why is it called that in the game, not like in Vicky 2 and such. So yeah, of course Korea, or Joseon, is in a good spot with population, and industry has a lot of coal and iron and stuff like that, so I figured they would always be interesting to try out. Well, of course I have I had to have the debug on for something I had to explain a little bit later. So yeah, industrialized and stuff like that, yada yada yada. I spent like 40 years almost at peace, since I had to build up my navy and stuff, because could not naval evade anyone, for crying out loud. It was really annoying. So I kept building my stuff, had some moments. I did in this game, I focused primarily on keeping my the main industrial goods as low as possible to keep them as profitable, instead of like doing what I always would do, is like branch out to like do other things. I mostly stuck with them for a long time, and then there was one point in the game where railroads were so freaking expensive because I was in Qing's market, and I think they had become part of Russia's market, and I spent like 10 years pretty much just building railroads, and the price still was at like 75%. Like no matter what, it wouldn't go down until finally, a few decades later, it finally started to go down. So yeah, there was one point in the game where I had to stop building stuff like off and on, because I wasn't making money and stuff like that. But eventually, I got somewhat figured out. I'm sorted, and after a while, I got to some imperialism, as if it would be nice to show disappeared. Okay, anyways, I puppeted a bunch of Borneo, as you see, Brunei, these guys down here. I eventually decided to puppet, because I like to do this a lot when I'm playing someone in Asia, puppet Hawaii, because hey, they're a nice population and they're very easy to take over, so why not? So I puppeted them, and then later on I actually annexed them for the hell of it. And then oh yeah, really funny, for finally, after so many times trying, I actually took over part of Japan as Joseon. I wanted that for so long, but Japan was always so strong, and they just gave up. It's like a very rare moment where they just gave up. Like, I don't see that often anymore with the AI, but thankfully, they did, and they gave me Kyushu, which was nice because at this point in the game, I had a major shortage of coal, which I still have, but oh my god, it was worse. Like, 20 years ago, I was like at minus 22,000, and the price was like almost 60% higher, and once I built all 72 coal mines just like that, and it didn't even really make that much of a difference, but man, it was still nice though. I eventually puppeted Dynam and Cambodia, even though they didn't go in my colors for some reason, and I last left it off too, annexing more of Japan, Shikoku, Shogoku, and the Ryoku Islands. Earlier in the game, I tried beating China and Russia to break away from them. I did actually win, but my economy like died. It was like pointless. That's like multiple times now where I try to break away from a country, I win, but I'm so fucked over economically that I have to restart the whole game because it was just unsalvageable. So that's really annoying. I had to stay underneath China's sphere the entire time as their vassal, which is really annoying, since it wouldn't let me become out of unrecognized regional power. They need to really fix that. If your GDP, prestige, and all that stuff is high enough, you should just automatically be recognized as a great power. Just like, well, not a great power, but no longer be like unrecognized. It should be recognized, just like in Vicky 2, when you get high enough points, you become a great power, and everyone just accepts it. So yeah, let me get to here. The capitalists, industrialists take over, control the government. Still a monarchy, because I was never able to change it, much to my extreme annoyance. And when we went protectionist, first time I was actually, where was it at? State atheism, that was the first time. That was really cool and all that. But yeah, I couldn't really do much because reforms. It took forever to get rid of the landowners. And then near the end of the game, Japanese successionists broke out right here. And even though I beat them, the game wasn't going to end in time. It was overtime, like in the middle of 1936. I was like, no. You're not going to do a revolt that even if I'm going to win, I'm not going to be able to finish time because the game's over. No. They need to have that banned. No more rebellions after like 2 years left in the game. Because that is going to hurt you massively and you can't do anything about it because you don't have time limit. They need to just remove that after the last 2 years. So that's why I have the console command on to prevent succession. So, so much for them. They can suck on it. So, yeah. Third biggest GDP in the world. Yeah, like when I'm not even when China, when my GDP is not that far away from the Great Qing, and my standard of living's higher than them too, the game really should just automatically let me be a recognized power. Like, that's BS. Like, there's no excuse about it. And there's the wild game too, as you can see. Super Germany actually formed. When I saw, I was stunned when I saw, like, what? My mouth dropped. Super Germany actually formed by the AI. That is insane. America had an inverse civil war where the free North broke away instead. That's wild. Canada became a major power. So yeah, this is a wild game. But hey, it's nice to finally do a game as Joseon or Korea. So yeah, hope you enjoyed that. And here is the final results. And hopefully that it kind of is in a way, but at least when it comes to the main like stats, it's not too much in the way.